What's up, everyone? This is Press X to Start Podcast, Season 5, Episode 23. We are here. I'm sorry. I keep saying we are here. We are here at Press X to seek to transform the video game media landscape through an underserved and protective point of view. Restorative justice for the underrepresented programmers, developers, and consumers. I am your host, DJ, a.k.a. Sexy Bad Choices, a.k.a. Did you know babies can be a pain sometimes, but you love them because they're made that way and your brain tricks you to loving them? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah. Still working on that.
Terrible. Did you know? I am Sean MF Ross.
What the MF stand for?
Did you know that DJ had a terrible? Did you know?
The M and F are silent.
Yeah.
Who else is here? Avery. Go ahead.
Okay, cool beans. I am Avery Williams. As I said before, I'm just trying to get away with it. Probably not, but still working on it. Here's hoping.
You're gonna have a ramble about that.
No, I can show you what I can show you the deep down well where I went down where I realized, oh, this might be my favorite thing on Twitch right now. This is my favorite meme on Twitch.
Ooh, that could be AKA. That could be a thing.
Oh, it's gonna get immediately ruined when people actually learn what the meme is, because it's like, oh, you're definitely never gonna get away with it. Look at you.
Last up,
Jordan, aka formerly the Dragon of Dojima Clan, but now the Dragon of Kazuma Clan. Changes in the universe.
Did you betray them? What's going on? Huh?
Oh man, it's messy. And maybe the last Psychonaut? I don't know. I'm playing that too, but
okay.
Get that out of here. I'm loving it though.
With that being said, and us being introduced, now it is. Oh, wait, actually, before we do anything, we are going to do some housekeeping because that is important. As I said at the last podcast, I'm going to say it again in this podcast. Don't forget to join us as we are donating to the Palestine charity drive. You can go to pressx2start.com/Palestine to donate. So please do that. Every little bit counts, as I say all the time at the end of every show. So, help out. The other thing you can do for us is check out our Ratchet and Clank A Rift Apart review. It is both in video and audio formats. The audio, of course, you'll just get it just like how you get this podcast with the video. You're going to have to actually go to our YouTube page at pressx2start.com/YouTube and like, subscribe, share, and, comment if you feel like leaving a comment. That'd be great. So with the housekeeping being done and the house kept, let's talk about what we have been playing. Avery, what have you been playing?
Okay, so after my last couple of paltry weeks of pretty much doing nothing, I decided to get back into the video game grind and play some games again. So first things up, I finished Bugsnax. That's a game that has an ending. In all seriousness, I think it's a really cool indie game, and I'm glad PlayStation jumped on it. But it's one of those games where, like, I got to the end, and I'm like, wow, this is not where I expected this to go at all. This is bizarre. Fascinating.
I watched the ending of that game, and out of context, I was like, "What the fuck is happening? I don't understand."
Yeah, like the ending makes sense, and it works. But just like did not expect this game to go this way. But I spent most of my time this week with two games. One was Valorant because they released a new patch, and I was just trying to see if I had gotten any better. Didn't get any better, so just going to say that they've made the game. If you're good at mouse and key, and like you've got those reflexes, the game is much better for you.
My man spent thousands of dollars to see himself suck in 4K, 60 frames a second.
It's all right. It's all right. Balance cool.
Word ain't never looked good and never looked better.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, the game I spent the most time with this week is Guilty Gear Strive. I'm playing on the PC because I don't want trophies for this game because I'm not going to get trophies for this game. So
wait, you're playing. What controller are you using? PlayStation 5 controller?
Yeah.
Or
I'm using my PS5 controller.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so wait, did you? Is that on Steam? I'm
Yeah,
so confused.
it's on
Okay,
Steam.
okay. How you doing it? How you liking it?
It's a fighting game. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not the right person to tell you, like, give you like the blowdown on a fighting game, because like the reason I'm into Guilty Gear is not the fighting. Like, fundamentally, this from what I can tell from the greater fighting games communities hot takes on this game is that they've made it a more casual game. They've made it a lot more easier for people to pick up and play and enjoy. And I think that's ultimately, for the strength of for any good fighting game, that's what you need. You need people to be able to jump in, play, enjoy their time with, while at the same time having a depth, so that a person who's only going to play this game for 2 years is going to be able to like master it in a noticeable way.
Mhm.
But I spent most of my time watching the single player mode of this game because I was super interested in. I thought I was going to get a Mortal Kombat-esque. Okay, here's the story we're going to tell, and every once in a while we're going to break up this story with fights and with different characters, so you get used to the cast. No, what I got was a 4-hour poorly animated movie.
It's poorly animated. No!
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The art for Guilty Gear Strive has gotten so much better.
Yeah, definitely.
But based on what I watched from this movie, it's very apparent that the animation team who makes the game are the one who made the movie.
Is or is not?
Is the one who made the movie.
Oh, okay.
So like when you get a close up of the characters and you get to see their finer details, it looks just like a really cool 3D anime. But when any character has to walk, they're gliding across the screen with weird walking animations because they're using the in-game models and the in-game animation tech. So like you're not really walking really. And then if you're not a hardcore Guilty Gear fan, this story is fucking dog shit. Like it is the end of the main character of Guilty Gear Soul Bad Guy story. So it's taking shit from like the original Guilty Gear that no one really remembers, that was just called Guilty Gear, and finally coming to fruition with that. And that part is really cool.
Yeah.
It's one of those like this like it's like because I don't want to the game is fun. I enjoy the game, but the single player is so disappointing.
Yeah.
Like it's so Bad Guy and the president of the United States just running around the White House, which is apparently flying in the sky at this point, and just from a terrorist attack. So it's like, and you spend like 3 hours of narrative of just those two running around the White House.
I mean, sounds like it makes sense to me.
It's so dumb. But from like ignoring just the creative, like the actual like writing of the story mode, the way it ties up Soul Bad Guy story and like ties up the loose ends of Guilty Gear, I think is really cool, and I'm interested to see where they go from here, because here's a spoiler for Guilty Gear. Soul Bad Guy is a robot man who's part dragon, and the end of this game ends with him just being a normal guy. So I don't know where Guilty Gear goes from there.
Does he make a wish or something?
Okay, here's more spoilers for Guilty Gear. The quote-unquote main villain of Guilty Gear was always a character called That Man, and this is the first game to explain why they call him That Man. And they call him That Man because no one's been able to pinpoint who was the problem in the Guilty Gear universe, and there were two people. So whenever they were just referring to whoever caused the problem, it was just That Man. And this is a game where both versions of That Man confront each other and finally fight.
No, I'm the man. You're that man.
And the one who's quote unquote good, he uses magic and fixes souls, so Soul's human now.
Okay, yeah, that sounds like a fighting game story to me.
It's both batshit and totally mundane.
Yeah,
like it's like one of the characters like this. I wish Marcus was here because Marcus is the only person who could get the context for this bit. This is what I'm about to say. That there was a character called Axel Lowe who's just this random British guy who who like he used a Kurosagama and like he had fire powers, and he was just
Yeah.
this random British guy. And like they kept talking about how he's from the past, and the big thing about his character was he somehow time traveled to the future of Guilty Gear. He doesn't know how. He's always been trying to figure out how to get back. The last Guilty Gear game revealed that he's not human, and he's just like the personified version of humanity's hopes and dreams or some bullshit like that. It's a whole thing. Like it's batshit, dude. It's batshit.
So what else games you've been playing?
I mean, that was pretty much it. I'm also finally sitting down with Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, where I've had it for about 2 weeks now. I played like 30 minutes of it, got through I think what was the sort of tutorial area of the game where you got used to Yuffie and got to the Midgar section, and I just got sucked into Fort Condor, which is the mini game they built to get rid of a part of the actual main Final Fantasy VII story. Like from what I can tell,
what is Fort Condor?
It's a board game mini game within Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. But from what I can remember, because I never finished Final Fantasy VII, it was an entire section of Final Fantasy VII story. And from what I'm guessing, they've turned it into a mini game, so they don't have to actually do that as part of the remake.
Oh, interesting.
Can you just jump straight to the Yuffie content? Because I don't feel like playing the whole fucking game.
Yeah, you can just jump straight to it. It's a separate, like once you jump into the Final Fantasy VII remake starting screen, it's like a tab over Yuffie.
All right, I'll play it.
This Fort Condor thing looks like a polished like mobile game.
It's pretty much a
what?
It's pretty much a MOBA. It's pretty much a MOBA.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
But it's a very simplified MOBA. That's I haven't played auto chess, but I think it's a lot like auto chess.
Okay. I don't know what auto chess is, but I know enough to know that it's not automatic chess.
It's a weird mod to MOBAs, which are a weird mod to RTSs. So it's a come full circle. But it's like the game, like you pick a bunch of units, you put them on a board, and the automatic. It's like chess because it's a board and you're putting units on it. But it's automatic because I don't think you necessarily do any. You don't make any actions yourself. You just put your characters in the right move, and their AI makes them fight against each other.
Gotcha.
And that's pretty much what Fort Condor is. But it's interesting. What's really interesting is to see parts of Final Fantasy VII remakes content, like from Yuffie's perspective at the time, because like the game takes place when your main character, like right before Sector 7 drops, like the plate drops.
Yeah.
So it's all these characters like Cloud, Tifa, Barrett, Aerith are not there, but everyone else around them there, and you see what they were doing at the time. It's interesting. I'm enjoying it, but I ultimately don't think it's going to be narratively worth it unless they make some interesting changes to like 7-2.
Okay. All right. Jordan, what you been playing?
Yakuza, man.
Yakuza.
All day, every day. I just got over to Yakuza Kiwami. And it's kind of funny because 0 was one of the last core Yakuzas to come out before Enter the Dragon, which still had like the brawler style that we talked about in the past. And goddamn, does that game kill every motherfucker that was in 0. I was surprised. I had no context about like the series itself.
Yeah.
But this is a prequel game where, pretty established characters, like the actual like lead of the clan, Dojima clan, he gets killed in the first 5 minutes by another main character.
Killed in Kiwami?
Yeah. He's shot in the face.
Okay, so is Jesus. Is Kiwami the like is that like the like newest? Or not?
No.
But like along which
sequence wise, yeah, this is how fucked up the whole thing is. So Yakuza 0 came out like Yakuza 0 came out after Yakuza 6, but takes place way before Yakuza Kiwami.
Okay.
So yeah, like I mean, characters are stronger, super buff. Like your friend, Nishiki was like all scared and like a low level lieutenant. Now he's a fucking clan leader. He has his own family. the Niski Flame. Like the dude had his hair was slicked back too. Man, like that nigga upgraded hard, and he was killing people, but he wanted to kill you because because you went to jail and got super big over there. He knew that once you came out, the clan would turn to Kiru, like to be the leader of the clan. Mm-hmm. They were like, Niski, you weren't shit. But the shit was bananas. I'm not gonna get into the story too much, so we don't got time for that shit. But basically, you have like this girl, this little fucking 9-year-old girl who's a daughter of this girl that Kiru really wanted to, be with. And her mom knows where the money's at. And the money, so, if you have the money, you got the clan. And in the end of it, she threatened to blow herself up. I would have called her bluff because her kid was right next to her. I was like, bullshit. Shoot this bitch right now. Shoot her. She's like, I'm going to kill myself. Like, no, you're not. Your kid's right there. You're a liar. But yeah, like that shit was, it was like the last like 5 hours of that game was just fucking like the story was not as strong as Zero was. Zero had a way stronger story. And they turned one of my favorite characters to a joke, but I still love him though, because he's a Joker fucker. His name was Majima, who was like super stoic and like rugged. He's a total jackass. He lives to fight you. He became a zombie to fight you. It's all over the place. The game is just fucking wild, but I'm loving it. I beat that, and I'm now playing Yakuza Kiwami 2, which takes like I'm not gonna get into that game too much. I thank
you said zombie.
God,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. I'm so happy to have been exposed to the Yakuza game series because it is just amazing. But yeah, I'm playing Elite Dangerous also. Mm-hmm. Finally understanding the math behind how to jump between planets. Completed some of my first contracts without blowing up. I think the next step is me going bounty hunting, fighting other people to hunt online. Well, not online. I'm playing solo. Fuck that. But yeah, like understanding the economies, the various factions, kind of like the way Mech Assault 5 was, Mech Warrior 5 was, like understanding contracts and reputation and like nuances, like how my ship is outfitted for certain missions. And with the surround system I got, man, that game, it just sounds amazing. Like the way the ship, the vibrations from the ship translating to like if you have a system that has a subwoofer, or has like able to translate amazing bass. These space sims are awesome, in terms of how like the sound design around the spacecraft. But yeah, also I played Watch Dogs Legion. Not gonna say wouldn't recommend it. Probably recommend it now, seeing it's mad cheaper. Would not recommend it at $60 because that game was silly. There was an instance in which I was recruiting someone. While I was recruiting them, they killed themselves. I saw it in real time, so I'm like, well, check them off the list. Hopefully, I find another spider recruit. Like that's what, like that. The game was bold in terms of game design, but in terms of execution, just wasn't there. And the last act of that game was I was just trying to get through it. If I'm doing that, then your game's falling apart in my eyes. Right. And last, I've been playing The Descenders, which is available via Game Pass. If you're familiar with extreme BMXing, downhill BMXing, like you see those YouTube, Facebook videos of them going like 50, 60, 70 miles per hour down a fucking cliff, like almost a cliff in terms of the angle of like the angle of the mountainside or hillside. That's basically what the Descenders are. That's basically what the Descenders is. It's fun playing with other people. You get to race them down, but also you have your own challenges. You're able to do tricks and stuff. And yeah, it's a fun game. It has like techno Eurobeat playing in the background. Gets you pumped up.
Gotta have that.
You can design. You can customize your bike and your board and everything. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. So we'll see how my my goal is to have at least up to Yakuza 6 done by the fall. At least by the fall, because those games are long as shit.
Yeah,
those games are long.
Jeez. All right. So wrapping up what we've been playing, Sean and I both play Ratchet and Clank. Well, actually, we all play Ratchet and Clank. We all did a review on Ratchet and Clank. But Sean, you don't really have any other games past that, right?
Nah, man. Q Whitney Houston. I have nothing.
And then the only thing that I have to say really is Gundam, of course. But me and my wife will be starting It Takes Two. I downloaded that this past like Thursday. So we'll be doing that. We have 2 PS5 controllers, a black and white one. So cue Michael Jackson. With that
I mean, I got the red and the black PS5 controller, if that matters. Whatever.
You betrayed us. You betrayed us, Sean.
Yeah.
He was Jamaican until he got the controller. He's Trinidadian.
Anyway, moving on.
Before we move on to the quick hits, we have a word from our sponsors. It's ourselves. It's our Press X to Start YouTube page. Make sure, again, you check out the Ratchet and Clank a Rift Apart review. We had a great time doing it. It was 5 of us. We had Metal Mouth Marcus on. He's doing great. He's doing fantastic.
That's an awesome rap name, to be honest. Metal Mouth.
Metal Mouth Marcus.
MF Doom.
With that being said, Press X to Start. Sponsor us, nigga. Yeah.
I didn't feel like you put enough oomph.
No.
I mean,
go ahead.
I don't know enough about podcasting sponsorships, but I think they prefer you not to use.
Call them nigga. Hey, Avery,
I'm just saying.
Here and switch it up. We've been using it for the past 2-3 years now. Right?
I mean,
no wonder we have no sponsorship.
I'm just saying.
Avery might be on to something. All right.
We've been doing fine thus far. We're gonna be real, like Beezus and Marrow and RDC and shit. Sponsor us, nigga.
All right. Yeah, Marcus, you can do what you do with this. And we're back. Now it's time for the quick hits. DJ, take it away. Thanks, DJ. Number 1, this comes from Forbes. Sony reluctantly brings Cyberpunk 2077 back to the PlayStation Store. So is it fixed? ?
No, it's not. I'm still running into Cyberpunk issues on my Xbox Series X. I'm playing that shit on their performance mode setting.
Why?
It's like there's more glitches now. I don't know what the fuck happened, but when I played it the first time, there was not this much fuckery going on. I don't know. Maybe because
Avery, did you play Cyberpunk?
I played on PC.
The thing. Okay.
Yeah. I had a fun time. I had no problems.
That is hilarious. So Sony actually put a little note on their store for Cyberpunk, and it says, important notice, users continue to
stay away.
Exactly.
Users continue to experience performance issues with this game. Purchase for use on PlayStation 4 systems is not recommended. For the best Cyberpunk experience on PlayStation, play on PlayStation 4 Pro and PlayStation 5 systems.
Adjacent to this, Xbox just ended the refund policy for Cyberpunk. I think in July, it's like, all right, if you purchased it and you didn't notice the shit yet, don't be asking for your money back.
Yeah.
I mean, if they've been playing all their Game Pass games, maybe they weren't able to get to Cyberpunk yet. You know what I mean?
That is a possibility. You bring up a good point there, Sean. Thank you.
Number 2, this comes from Axios. Sony PlayStation boss Jim Ryan moves past console wars is the title of this interview. So Axios interviewed Jim Ryan, and it's there's some nuggets in here where it's gonna bring up the main meat of the story. The big picture is that Sony supplemented its splashy and largely successful November launch of the PS5 with news this spring that it plans to expand its key franchises into at least 10 new movies and shows. So we know Last of Us
2, or Last of Us,
yeah, and then we know Uncharted is also doing a thing.
And then we know about the Twisted Metal thing as well.
Twisted Metal, yeah. Is there a Ghost of Tsushima movie too?
Yes,
we thought about that also. Yeah, that's also in the books.
So I mean, that's like what? That's 4 out of the 10. So we might.
Ratchet and Clank technically was. I mean, it was a movie.
Yes,
that
a long
is true.
time ago. So
we
got a great game out of it. We got a great game out of it. Probably the best tie-in game of all time.
So if that is the goal,
What?
So when you're saying it's moving beyond console wars, because Xbox leadership also used that language.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing pathways of thought. Like there's other ways to expand out. Not trying to say that there isn't a precedent for Sony and multimedia. They're strong in multimedia.
Well, that's one of the key differences between Microsoft and Sony, is that Microsoft is at its core a computer company. So while Sony as its core is a multimedia entertainment company, with games just being a facet of that. So like when
the biggest facet though.
Yes, the biggest facet of it. So it's free money to leverage the success of your games in other mediums. Like there's there was a sort of an argument conversation about how this is like a waste of resources and things like that. Now I do, and then I gently point out that it's not so much a waste of resources as it's just much. I've watched this. I think the argument was that this isn't going to help games, and I also agree with that. I've watched the rise of comic book movies, and know for a fact that means jack shit for comic book sales. Like
that was a good point you brought up.
The Avengers could sell it could make $4 billion, and I bet your ass that the Avengers comic book will still only sell 100, maybe 50K in individual sales for individual issues. So it means absolutely nothing in the long run. But what it does mean is that when people, it puts brand recognition, it increases the brand recognition of that content and allows for a better pollination. Like as much as the Avengers books aren't selling like hotcakes because of the Avengers movies, Avengers has become a bigger franchise for Marvel as a result of those movies.
Yeah.
And they can do so much other things like that. If this is fundamentally Sony taking resources from games to make movies, then that's a bad call. And I agree with DJ's original assertion on this. But if this is Sony taking the resources that they already have to make movies, which they have a relatively thriving, being carried by their Spider-Man franchise movie slate, then I can see nothing but interesting thing coming from this, especially in the wake of we just got a Sonic movie that was actually really good, and all reports say that Ubisoft's Werewolves Within movie is fucking fantastic. So it's not like we can't get good video game movies. We just haven't gotten over the hump of it being a consistent thing.
Wait, that's Ubisoft?
Yeah, they released that movie is an adaptation of a Ubisoft game, which is an adaptation of a game, which is like an adaptation of a just normal game that people play normally.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I did not know that was a Ubisoft property. The other part,
because the VR game,
right? Yeah. The other part to this is Sony is also targeting an expansion to mobile as it joins other console gaming powerhouses in carving the bigger mobile market. It will have something to show. It will have something to show there soon. Ryan teased.
I think Sony has requested access to Microsoft Azure cloud system in the past, like back in 2018.
I think it was less requesting access and more of a partnership between Microsoft and Sony proper, not the game services. So it wasn't Xbox, it wasn't PlayStation making this deal. It was Sony and Microsoft.
So the point I was trying to bring up was, if they are going to the mobile market, is going to be a specific type of mobile that they're doing here, because technically xCloud is a version of a mobile gaming service to which you can access it on your phone. Regardless, the mobile market is fairly lucrative. I mean, even EA,
the highest selling.
Even EA with their purchase of Warner Brothers, mobile department shows that they expect a return on investment equal to and exceeding $1.4 billion over the course of the next couple of years. So, I mean, Sony's just looking for multiple pathways for revenue right now, which is every company's responsibility, because you can't just focus on one. And who's to say that the movie income won't translate to more video game resources too? the money they make off of Spider-Man or the money they make off of Uncharted could go into a portion of the next Ratchet and Clank game. You have to diversify your income to be successful.
I will say that that last point you brought up, Jordan, is actually a really good point, because it could be something where instead of having a AAA movie tie-in with the game, they could just do a mobile tie-in, and that market is out there. So that's an easier,
they have quicker turnaround on games.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people can just be like, oh, it's on the iPhone, I'll just download this and play this little swinging Spider-Man game. Oh,
while the trailers are going,
yeah. Next up, this comes from Kotaku. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart developers say it was created without crunch. Give them roses. That's amazing.
Good.
Excellent.
Look how big my hands are. Good job.
Giraffe hands.
Number 4. This comes from Pure Xbox. It sounds like Judgment might be coming to Xbox Game Pass, and I know
let us know how it is, Jordan.
Just bathe me in all of the Yakuza content, all of it. I don't care if it's me playing a fucking train conductor in that universe. Give it, bring it here. But yeah, this should be fun. And actually, the Judgment series. So there's another one coming out this fall, a sequel.
Yeah.
But the Judgment series goes back, DJ and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to the original, brawling, not the,
I thought about getting it.
I believe developers of Yakuza, I don't remember who. Yakuza
developers are the ones who made Judgment.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is that they said that Judgment is going to have the brawling system, and going forward, the next Yakuza is going to be the turn-based stuff.
Correct.
Yeah. So they're splitting out the two gameplay styles. Number 5. This is also from Pure Xbox. PSA, public service announcement. Everyone who is still playing Marvel's Avengers,
hide your kids, hide your wife.
The latest patch is showing your player's IP address. So basically, don't play the patch on stream because it will show it off jump. And
they're out here backtracing, y'all. Consequences will never be the same.
Yep. So don't do that. Don't do that. Or you can just not play the game. Whatever. Play the game. If you have fun with the game, play with the game. Number 6.
I mean, here's the thing. This only applies to people streaming the game. And as of an hour ago, only 200 people were streaming Marvel's Avengers. So we're fine.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Totally.
Number 6. This comes from Tech Radar. PS5 owners can now buy another PS5 thanks to Sony.
Yeah,
so,
I got that email.
Yeah,
and you capitalized on it. You didn't
I helped a listener secure a PS5.
Ooh, look at Sean helping out the viewers or the fans.
If you listen to us more, Sean might, be a little summertime Santa Claus and
summertime Santa Claus. I like that. So as Sean kind of alluded to, Sony is essentially sending out PlayStation Direct emails to people who already have a PS5 so they can get another PS5.
So it was odd though, because I still had to wait in the queue, but it was only like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, from what I can tell, when they sent you that email, they already gave you a queue time. Like they already put you in a queue. So all you literally had to do was show up and they would give it to you.
While they were still in stock, that is.
Yes.
So you still had to.
Well, theoretically speaking, they only
was reserved for you, kind of.
Yeah, they sent out as many as they had reserved.
But I think everybody could join the queue still.
Well, yeah, they could show you. Well, yeah, I think after a certain amount of time.
Yeah. Okay, I get you.
But like if you didn't capitalize on this, we're just gonna put that one that we reserved for you out back into the wild.
Just know like what? Pokemon. A wild PlayStation appeared.
Oh, it's shiny. Again, I just checked my email and I didn't get a thing, so
that's because they don't fucking like you. Matter of fact, turn your shit back in. I helped you get yours too. Turn your shit back in. They know you're disloyal.
Xbox also had its pilot PlayStation Direct X program on its side, which isn't going well, in terms of notifying people. And yeah, the rollout of these consoles has been difficult compared to most generations. It's been fucked up.
Number 7. This comes from Polygon. Windows 11 PC gaming features Xbox Game Pass, Auto HDR, and more. So, there's this big thing. Windows 11 is gonna come out in the fall, and it's been announced that it will come bundled with the Xbox app, which will have Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Cloud Gaming on it. That's
Windows Vista all over again. Just you wait. Just you fucking wait. Can I put Windows Vista on this?
I think that part of the announcement seems to be par for the course of what Xbox was doing. Like, that didn't surprise me. What did surprise me about this Windows 11 thing was the fact that they were integrating the Android App Store into the OS.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting.
Which pretty much means that, like, if my understanding is correct, any app you can get for your phone, you can fundamentally have working on your PC. So, like, if I have certain apps that are on my Apple phone that I know I can get on the Android phone. I can have that app on my one of the dumb cool things I did to make myself feel better about my depression was I got these cool lights I can manipulate, right? And I use an app on my phone. But, like, I'm always at my computer, so it's actually more convenient if that control system is on my computer, but they don't make those apps for your PC.
I mean, you could always run BlueStacks or some Android, emulator or whatever.
Yeah,
but
I don't want to. Here's the thing. I don't want to do crazy shit with my computer. I just want shit that will work without me having to do anything. And if I can open up the Android App Store, download the same app I use on my phone, and control shit from there, I'm happy. That's all I want. That's the coolest thing I think about this. That, and it's going to be free. So I fundamentally, as a PC Windows 10 user, don't have to upgrade. I mean, don't have to pay for it.
Pay for the upgrade, yeah. Yeah, this is really big. I think.
Wait. Windows 11 is going to be free?
Yeah, if you have Windows 10, it's a free upgrade.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Sean, that doesn't mean steal Windows 10 right now. Make sure to buy shit, please.
Jordan, you say steal. Sean says liberate.
It's the questions that Sean asks.
Liberate is the words of the oppressor. What he's doing is theft.
Sean is a socialist to a point.
These are my reparations.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of reparations, but not really. Number 8. This comes from this comes from Push Square. Insomniac Games is now hiring for PS5 multiplayer project. So this is kind of a big thing. So people have been speculating about what this could mean. On our show notes, I put Sunset Overdrive revamping.
I assume it's going to be a Fuse 2.
Oh no!
Hey man,
I will vomit nothing but Mountain Dew Livewire if it is Fuse 2.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but
it's
not. It's not. It's really bad for your esophagus. It's not.
Fuse 2 tried. I'll give it that.
Yeah. So
the Fuse, series tried.
Yeah, they tried and they failed and may they never come back.
Was that the one with the No, I'm thinking of Hades.
Fuse is a game that came out with a really amazing Overwatch-like trailer, and then when the game came out, it looked like every generic shooter of all time.
Yep.
Because apparently during the development, from what I can remember, someone at EA was like, "We can't sell this game the way it looks." So Insomniac went and was like, "All right," so we changed it to what they wanted, and the game looked garbage.
Yes.
And it looked garbage, and then it just played generically.
So Insomniac Games, when you think Insomniac, we have Ratchet and Clank, like we talked before a lot. We have Spider-Man, and we do have Sunset Overdrive as well.
What are you talking about? Because I think Ratchet and Clank Deadlocked or one of the shits was multiplayer.
They had Ratchet and Clank All for One.
All for One.
Which
was that was on PS2?
No, it was on PS3.
Yeah.
They had a PS2 version that was multiplayer, I think.
Probably Deadlocked. but like that was probably like a dumb arena shooter thing for like 2 people. All for One was like a
that had a regular story. You could just play it with 2
no,
people.
but I mean to say the multiplayer was a like dumb like arena mode add-on to it. Well, like All for One was we built this as a multiplayer game.
I guess.
Yeah, this is interesting. I hope this isn't a Ratchet and Clank thing. I hope this is what they're going to do with Sunset Overdrive, because I feel like that game is kind of sitting pretty, and you know they need to do something with it, and it would be a nice flower in PlayStation's bouquet.
Sunset Overdrive had a multiplayer like destruction mode, to which it was a co-op horde mode type experience. So it's not like Insomniac is unfamiliar with like a multiplayer, focused portion of a single player game.
Yeah.
But it was co-op though. It was not. I mean, you're only competing by getting the most points, most money, most resources, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't like a competitive multiplayer. It's still a co-op multiplayer.
Gotcha. Sunset Overdrive just needs to be the new Jet Set Radio. That's all.
We'll see. To clarify, I believe Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal, and I believe they had competitive multiplayer modes.
Okay. Deadlocked was actually co-op. You just took control of the robots that followed them around.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so you guys played through the whole game, but go ahead.
Number 9. This comes from Give Me Sport. That is a weird thing to say.
I know.
Anyways, leak suggests new Dead Space game reveal at EA Play. EA Play is actually happening.
Get here.
I'll fucking believe it when I see it.
So when EA Play is happening in July, I believe, right?
Yes. I want to say the 11th, but don't quote me on that.
Battlefield.
July 22nd.
Okay,
July
cool.
22nd.
I was 11 days off.
So yeah, this is good news for those who love Dead Space. I will be watching this from social distancing, and
come on,
guys.
We just gotta give Dead Space credit, because when it came out, Japanese horror games Japanese developers were dominating the horror game space.
Oh yeah.
Dead Space was kind of like one of the first first Western ones. I mean, I'm not just like the first, but like
Dead Space was the only answer to Resident Evil from the West.
Yeah.
It was great, and until they started, getting less horror-y and more action.
Well, I think I'm in the minority in that I think Dead Space 2 is an infinitely better game than Dead Space 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Dead Space 3 carries on that energy the same way that Resident Evil 5 carried on the energy of 4 in the wrong direction.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like 3, but there's so many elements of 3 that just make it, that sort of remove the intrinsic horror of that game.
Mm-hmm.
It ultimately just
was just jump scares.
Yeah, it plays out like just a solid action game that happens to have horror elements.
Yeah, no, like the first 2 Dead Spaces, like those developers are demented in terms of what scenarios. It was just fucked up shit.
Yes, it was.
If you didn't kill it, it isn't dead.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the trailer to that and I was like, oh, okay, I'm sure someone will enjoy this. Not me. Last up for the quick hits, we have a special one. This comes from PSU. I'm going to say like PlayStation Universe or PlayStation University or PlayStation Unit or anyway.
If it's a British developer, if it's a British outlet, then maybe it's Unit. It's Unit.
I'm typing in PSU. I get Penn State University. So if I'm
Penn State University.
There you go.
Ghost of Tsushima is reportedly getting that. Ghost of Tsushima is reportedly getting a standalone expansion named Ghost of Ikishima, which is pretty cool. Ikishima is another island of Japan.
You watch way too much fucking anime to be pronouncing it like that.
Thank you.
It's more than likely Ikishima. You goddamn gaijin.
What did I say?
Ikishima. You pronounced the second I.
Ikishima.
You said Iki.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, Ikishima. It's like, no.
No, I got 2.5 years of Japanese. I mean, let's sound out these. Okay, so first we're gonna use the Japanese letter for I, the first one, so it would be.
Stop it, Avery. Get out of here. Get out of here. DJ, go ahead.
So yeah, so this is interesting. So this it's not, of course, it's not confirmed. This is really interesting for me because I love Ghost of Tsushima. So basically, so yeah, there was a tweet that was put out about this essentially, and people were just like, "What? Wait a minute, what is this thing that's happening?" Again, it's all speculations. We don't know. I think it is kind of interesting that we have this announcement that's kind of leaking, and then if we just rewind a little bit in our quick hits, the last thing that Jim Ryan said was that we'll have something to show soon when you talk about the mobile stuff. Jim Ryan he teased. So it kind of feels like, and we're going to talk about this more in our heavy hitter. But it kind of feels like there might be something for us that they're going to show us soonish. Overall, Ghost of Tsushima is cool. It's a cool sounding thing. I don't know. We don't really got much to go off of from this. Of course, this doesn't seem like it's going to be a Jin story. It's probably going to be a new person that's going to become a ghost.
There's not that much they would have to do if this is a standalone expansion using the same assets and game engine.
Depends.
Well, it depends because like if Ikishima is a completely different Japanese island, then they can't actually use the map from Ghost 1.
Yeah, there actually is another island near Tsushima called Iki.
I'm pretty sure the environment's gonna be different. I'm talking about the game engine itself. Like I imagine is fairly familiar with it, and also using some of the same, combat features too.
Yeah,
it was a great game. Like there's not really, that much incentive to go beyond the current tracks right now.
I think the strength
standalone expansion.
Well, it depends on what type of standalone expansion it is. Is it a Miles Morales where ultimately this is just they were able to iterate on gameplay because they didn't really have to iterate on design? Or is this a what's it called? The Uncharted one.
Lost
Legacy, where they didn't have to iterate on gameplay because they iterated on world in the design. That makes sense.
Or I was gonna say like a GTA Lost in the Damned and the Ballad of Gay Tony.
Yeah, because if this article said sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, then I'd be like, okay, now they're going to have various improvements to the game engine, incorporate new combat aspects. When I hear standalone expansion, I just think something more.
Oh shit! Like Doom Eternal. What's that standalone shit they just came out with?
Oh yeah, that's just basically DLC. That's just DLC.
I like with Avery bringing up the whole Spider-Man Miles Morales thing. I'm getting the same vibes of that because I think that makes the most sense for them because this would be a way of them to get Ghost on PS5, but also not have to worry about spinning up for a full game. So I would imagine, this could possibly be like, 10 to 12 hours or something like that.
I don't know that.
Yeah, you can still have a great experience of a standalone expansion versus a sequel. I mean, it's fine.
And then all they would have to do is just be a thing of maybe introduce like 1 or 2 new features to the gameplay loop, and then kind of just changing or revamping the older weapons that they might have wanted to do, but they just didn't have the time for Ghost of Tsushima. So yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of potential to this. It could be something that is put out this fall to just in case if Horizon doesn't make it, because we don't know.
Keep the engagement.
Yeah. So with that being said, it is time for us to jump to the heavy hitters. DJ, take it away. Thanks, DJ. All right. This comes from Game Rant. So PlayStation Experience may be making a comeback in 2021. So what happened here was someone noticed that the trademark, there was a trademark put out for PlayStation Experience. We haven't had a PlayStation Experience in years.
Couple years now. Since we went to the last one.
Yeah.
Since 2017.
17. Okay.
Well, actually, there's two different PlayStation experiences. There's the ones they do for their actual E3 conference, which is just them doing theaters, and there's the actual like main event that they usually hold in LA, which is like a actual like Comic-Con like event for PlayStation.
So that one was the last time we had a. As the article is stating, the last time there was a PlayStation experience was in 2017.
Okay.
The 2018 one was canceled.
Right. Yeah. So this is interesting because there's been a lot of rumors of, PlayStation's possible next state of play. But if it is a thing where they are planning to do something bigger, then PlayStation, like bringing back PlayStation experience kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that everyone is wondering about, at least I'm wondering about, is PlayStation Experience was a in-person event, whereas State of Play was a digital showcase of some sort. So is this a thing where they're going to bring PlayStation Experience back and possibly mesh it with State of Play? Or are they just going to be like, fuck it, we're bringing people. You're going to be able to talk to each other as long as you're vaccinated. Like,
Well, vaccinations are a big, weird issue because from what I can heard about, I think it's PAX. Like, you're not required to be vaccinated for PAX.
Yeah, it's the honor system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
I don't trust people enough for that.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, and also it depends on when this PlayStation experience is actually going to happen, because I believe generally it was like in the fall, right? Around December.
Traditionally it's around Game Awards, so it's like a Game Awards is like the last thing in December. PlayStation Experience is usually right behind it, so like you'll get a big reveal at Game Awards, and then they'll talk about it at PlayStation Experience.
Right, and that's actually what I was gonna bring up was the Game Awards. But I although PlayStation hasn't announced anything, I just want to believe that they are doing something, because during E3. Huh?
I think PlayStation's hard at work right now with many games outside of God of War, outside of Horizon Zero Dawn that we just not have heard of yet.
Yeah.
And based on what we're reading, the PlayStation Experience is the perfect format, format, to announce these new IPs, because you have like the Red Planet one that like the little teaser that came out for that. I mean, of course.
Oh yeah.
I don't know the size of that game. We don't understand the size of that.
You mean with the wind whipping around, right? Yeah.
So if there's any assumption that Sony does not have games within the next 3 years outside of the ones we know about is false.
Right.
I'd imagine at least 3 outside of the ones we know that are about to come out. That's going to be delivered over the next few quarters.
It's interesting because there are two schools of thought in regards to us getting a PlayStation Experience and it being their only conference this year, or a showcase, if you will. Is that PlayStation has had a banger first half of the year. Like they don't necessarily, as much as the latter half with the holidays is the most lucrative time of the year, they don't necessarily have to throw out a banger at the end of the year. That being said, outside of Kena and we know Deathloop, they don't have.
I'm still on the fence with that one.
And the In the Air Horizon, they don't have a sort of. We don't really know what their end of the year is going to be, like we know with Nintendo and what we know with Microsoft.
Yeah.
There's two arguments. There is that if they had nothing for the end of the year, like if what we know now is what they're going to have, then they don't need to do a conference anytime soon. Because the other rumor we were hearing was that we were going to get a conference maybe in July.
Yeah.
However, if they do one in I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought. If they do actually have a PlayStation Experience, it would probably be showing off what their next year is and what's going forward. Because Jordan's right, PlayStation is an interesting place where they showed us their hand a long time ago and then just kept talking about other stuff that they were doing at the same time. So they had a lot of eggs in the basket that we don't know about, a lot of eggs in the basket that we do know about that we'd like to know more about.
Right.
Like one of the problems that the Square Enix conference had is that most of their big titles that we were actually interested in hearing about were being shown off exclusively at PlayStation.
Exactly.
So they couldn't show them off. So it's a very interesting thing in that personally, I could go either or on this. Like, I'd love to have a big PlayStation experience thing at the very end of the year where it's like, let's kick off the year. Like, let's show everyone what we're going to be doing for the next year and going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would love to see here's a smaller
state of play
that's going to show off our next couple months, and just like maybe like one big tease. You could go either way, and I think the PlayStation audience would be fine, especially if we're looking at this in the vacuum of let's not bring in Microsoft into this conversation.
Yeah. So here's I'm just spitballing. My mind is just going, and I took off a different path. Now I'm on it. What if they do both, right? So what if they do the state of play for, we'll say July, like mid-July, right? And that state of play is for Ken and Bridge of Spirits. And then they have the bigger showcase at the end of the year, or not even the end of the year. Like, we'll say, because I feel like they should probably give the Game Awards some space, just because, like, that's starting to get bigger and bigger. And like back when they were doing it, Game Awards was kind of, pushing to have the December space. So maybe they respect that and they do like, November sometime, like before Black Friday.
In regards to that, one of the reasons those two, like, Game Awards is going to be an in-person event.
Yeah.
And one of the key things of why the Game Awards, the PlayStation Experience, worked so well was that all these people who came down for Game Awards immediately went down to the PlayStation Experience and got to see all that stuff there. So they worked in tandem.
That's a good point.
And in regard to the Kenna thing, what type of state of play are we talking about? Because they have two state of plays. They have the deep dive in a game, which I'm pretty sure we're just going to get those every once in a while, especially when they have content, like probably a month before content they have coming out, just to show things off. And then there's what they originally started off as, and what we got a lot during the PlayStation 5 hype cycle, which, like, here's a showcase of a bunch of our games. Because that is the question that we need to get answered. Does PlayStation have a fall lineup beyond what we know? Or is this what we have and we're going to be happy with it because we had a banger for of the year, and we're just going to let our third-party partners eat up that oxygen and let Xbox put their cards on the table with what they have?
And then we'll come back with... Because
that's the other aspect of this state of play thing that we're talking about, is that I've been talking about it in the vacuum of Microsoft not talking about anything that Microsoft has done. But we now know what Microsoft has. And we now know their fall.
Right.
And Sony essentially let them have June and pretty much E3 to eat the oxygen in the air.
Right.
Yeah.
With the gaming space. Does Sony respond to that with something in July? Or do they just wait and do something, a banger there? Because, like, this is just me, like, train of thought, just thinking about this. Another big part of Microsoft's last conference was, hey, we also have stuff for next year. Here's our drip feed for next year. So, like, the arms race between these two companies is going to get even exponentially more, like, heated up based on what type of press conference we get from PlayStation for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so I feel like when it comes to the state of play, I am thinking a combination of the two that you mentioned, in terms of, hey, these are our games that we have, happening. Maybe we get another trailer from Forspoken. Maybe we get an extended trailer from Final Fantasy 16. We get a little bit of something from Deathloop.
I don't think we get anything from Deathloop because we've seen a lot of that game at this point.
I mean, they could always just regurgitate something.
We literally had 3 trailers explaining how that game works.
This is true.
And they showed a lot of how this game works.
But basically, like, we get like maybe about a solid 10 minutes of trailers from different games, and then the last 10-15 minutes is a deep dive in Ken and Bridge of Spirits, because we got a pretty I wouldn't say substantial. We got like a 5 or 6 minute trailer last time from Kenna, but it wasn't necessarily like a deep dive. Like, actually, no, they did talk about the black things.
Are you talking
about the rot?
Yeah. Are you talking about the Tribeca showcase for Kenna, or are you talking about the original?
Yes,
trailer.
I'm talking about the Tribeca thing.
Okay,
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, but like we could have like a PlayStation branded like deep dive of that game just to like really educate the gamers about what this game is and why you need to buy it essentially, and then they can say like, you know, we'll have new announcements of like upcoming games, whatever, later in the year, and then that could be the PS experience where there you have the Ghost of Tsushima thing that could be like, I guess it depends on when the PS experience happens, because it can be like it's out now or it's out in December or something.
It's in regards to Kenna, I don't think you put Kenna as the one more thing at the end of a state of play.
That's not a showstopper, unfortunately.
I'm not. Well, wait. Just to clarify, I'm not saying that it is the one more thing. I'm saying that they say we're having a state of play with a extended gameplay thing of Kenna Bridge of Spirits at the end. So like you tell the viewers, hey, this is what to expect. Like there might be something new in the trailer section, but it is going to end with them talking about Kenna and what you're supposed to like, how that game works. Yeah.
Ultimately, because another thing that fucked up the PlayStation experience is why they had to stop doing them is because they were like, they had E3, then they had Paris Games Week, then they had Gamescom, then they had a Tokyo Game Show, and then they had their own state of the PlayStation experience. So much stuff was being stretched. Now they're quote unquote not doing E3 anymore. We're not exactly sure if that's a thing that they're going to continue doing. I'm not sure what's going on Paris Games Week. They're definitely going to do something for Tokyo Game Show. Gamescom is up in the air. So it's another thing where like, do we get like that one Gamescom conference that Microsoft did where they just literally show their E3 conference again? Or are we getting something where they're trying to like meter out their content? Because like, as great as the PlayStation experience was, it wasn't as big of a showcase of their games as we all think they are. It was like, here's a bunch of small games, here's a bunch of PlayStation people talking about PlayStation ecosystem, and here's a big, like at least one thing to make this worth it as a showcase.
That's true. Yeah, I think, you know, of course we are speculating on all of this because we really don't know what's up Sony's hat. We'll go with hat. So, you know, maybe by the time this actually goes live, they put out a little blog post, you know, stating their intentions of what they're going to do for the rest of the year. Maybe not. We will never know, or we will know. It's kind of hard to know, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been another episode of Press Star Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode as much as we enjoy making it. Don't forget to rate and review some of your favorite podcasting apps, and also don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment on our YouTube channel. Of course, it's pressx2start.com/YouTube to get there, and to just to see our stuff on our website, it's pressx2start.com. Until next time, well, no, because the Ratchet and Clank stuff will come out before this episode. So next time is up in the air.
Don't dictate how Marcus edits.
This is
we're not paying him. Marcus, do whatever you gotta do, man.
Just get it done. All right, guys. See you later.
All right, goodbye, everyone.